are warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the thrift are warriors, can't rely on the bank, there's no way.
Good morning. Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. Yes, absolutely. Keep loading up on your vitamin D, vitamin C, chaga, zinc, everything. But vitamin D especially, D and C. Those are the corona killers, shall we say. And your government, or at least part of your government, is going to try to scare you away from doing anything to celebrate your country coming the 4th of July, which just happens to be my birthday, if you didn't know. Yes, I am turning 56. I'm an old man. On Saturday, the 4th of July. And we're at a time in our country's history that is like no other. And both sides believe the same thing, that the crux of the problem is the presidency. Who's going to control us? No. Both sides need to understand that we are a republic and not a democracy. A republic, it's the individual's rights, freedoms, and liberties that count more than anything else. More than government, more than the 51% of the population who votes for something. We are a republic. It's so important to get your head around that, because we don't feel like a republic these days. The Republicans and the Democrats, who knows what the hell they're doing? The politicians, who knows? And in America, it should be who cares what they're doing. We need to stand up and take care of ourselves. And having government officials tell us what to do is not what America is meant to be, from the liberal side or from, all the liberals hate Trump and what his dictates are. All the conservatives hate the left and what their dictates are. We're all Americans, I hate to tell you, and we need to start taking care of ourselves. Don't rely on government, because governments come and go. I just hope America stays through this debacle that is we're in the process of. We could lose America. It's very, very easy to do. They are trying to divide America, and both sides are doing it. I hate to tell you, all you Republicans out there, you're just as guilty. Let people do what the hell they want to do, as long as they don't impede upon your liberties. I wrote this a few years back, actually about 10 years ago, but it is as meaningful to me right now than it has ever been. It's a little tiny idea about my country. I think I wrote it on the 4th of July. It's called, "Are You Ready for This, America?" Let me read it to you. We have arrived at a point in our nation's history that will define how our future will unfold. There are now only 2 roads left to take. The first road continues our relentless pursuits of power, control, and manipulation that can only spell destruction in our future. Destruction of our liberties, destruction of our prosperity, and destruction of our moral compass. For too long, our controllers have lied, cheated, and stolen their way to the top, only to discover that we, the people, have been left behind in the process. The second road completely destroys the global fiat monetary system, erasing all forms of false wealth, false power, and false governance. It is truly a creative destruction event that has never been witnessed in the history of mankind. All paper and electronic debt forms of wealth will evaporate in the blink of an eye, completely leveling the playing field in order to rebuild our monetary structures from the ground up. It is a lesson to be learned the hard way, but it is a necessary lesson in order to create a new future for our country, a future built on hard work, complete honesty, and goodwill towards others. Down this road, our founding fathers' ideals patiently await our return. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our country is standing at the crossroads. The only question left is which road will we choose? May the road you choose be the right road. Bix Weir. I believe that today more than ever before. And coming into our nation's birthday and my birthday, 4th of July, you're going to be hearing people say, don't go out, stay inside, don't celebrate. We need to celebrate our country, not our politicians, not the left, not the right, but the place that was created for us to hold, a place where all men are created equal. And it's interesting, when they wrote this, I think it was Thomas Jefferson who said it should be people. All people are created equal. But they left men in there. I do think we're going to be changing the Constitution. And we might as well change the Declaration of Independence, because it's a document. It's a foundational document, but everything has changed. And there are things that can be changed about all our past documents. I agree with the left on that side. And the right, some even on the right. Definitely all people are created equal. Or if you're on the spiritual side, all things are created equal. People, animals, cars, a tree, the earth, the solar system, it's all part of the same vibrational force, the one. None is any better than the other one. We all have our goals and structure that we came down here on earth to live through. Yes, we all chose the shit that we're dealing with right now. This is a learning game. Life is a learning game. In the brief time you're down here, your soul gets to experience it, and then you go back to the heavens, back to the spiritual side, and then try again and learn more lessons. That's how God understands himself or herself or itself. It's through experience. You cannot have evil. You cannot have good if you don't have evil. You wouldn't understand it. You can't have light unless you have dark. And then sometimes the darkness overcomes the country, and we need to look towards the light. Look towards the light. Fight for the light. All those have given up. All of those who have given up on the arrests are coming. Don't give up. That's the only way to lose, is to give up. We're here for a reason. To live through this, to fight for what we believe is just for all of humanity. So, go check it out, roadtoroot.com. It's called Are You Ready for This America? You can hit the search function and put that in. Are you ready for this America? Search function is great on the Road to Root. It's right here at the top of the website. I do want to call attention to the three jabronis and Jenny Moonstone. Yes, JC has a great interview up, and they're talking about the spirituality of the quest, Snippy's quest, and the three jabronis over there, their quest to find treasure. And I've been on one of their quests. It was amazing. It is truly both interesting, exciting, and spiritual. And bringing Jenny into the mix, she makes them look... I mean, you just watch this video. Go to Beyond Mystic and watch the video. Jenny is extremely tuned into the spiritual side of things. I think she should go on one of the trips with the jabronis. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. That's true. So check that out. I mean, what I got out of this, my treasure was the song. Secret Treasures Lost in Time, that I wrote on the side of the mountain. And listen to the song. It's on the Road to Root, a YouTube channel called Secret Treasures Lost in Time. Actually, I'm re-recording it, and my friend Dick Allgaier is going to play a lead, a haunting lead with his electric guitar, I believe. And it's going to sound really cool, and we're going to do a music video. Josh is going to put together a music video for us on that song. And I believe today I'll be recording that. I also have 2 or 3 more songs that I'm working on, because that's my journey now. I'm trying to ease out of exposing the criminality. Obviously, a lot of my stuff is just repetitive. But what I'm trying to do is show everybody that the criminality is worse than it has been ever before. under the Trump administration. Do I think Trump's a bad guy? No. Do I think Trump can save our country by building it on a false monetary system? Absolutely not. Is Trump working for the bad guys or the good guys? There's a gray area. There's a gray area. On the monetary system, he absolutely wants it to stay the same and get bigger and more corrupt. At least right now. But everybody's got their tipping point. He's got a lot of cards to play still, and he could destroy the monetary system. All he has to do is walk down to Steve Mnuchin's office and say, okay, we're stopping all market manipulation as of today, and let the cards fall where they may. That's all he has to do. You don't have to destroy, like attack, start shorting stocks or anything else. You just have to back out. And yes, everything will fall apart. Everybody will lose everything in the old system. That's why nobody's been able to do it in over 100 years. They're too afraid of the consequences of a sound monetary system because we're so distorted now. And those are you advocating that let Trump rebuild the economy. Let him continue to rig the markets. America's great again. America lost its greatness before 1913, the creation of the Federal Reserve System. Why was the Federal Reserve System created? To hide things, to hide what they found in the Grand Canyon. Here it is, June 19th, 1912. Tell of vast riches in the Grand Canyon. Men engaged in dredging operations expect to astonish the world, have overcome obstacles. Steamboat placed in the Great Chasm, large capital only can extract gold from the silt. Absolutely, 100% true. Billions and billions and billions of ounces were found in the Grand Canyon, and it would have destroyed the monetary system back then. And they couldn't deal with it back then, so they created the Federal Reserve, and that's how we get all these wars since 1913, because money was free. Created out of thin air through manipulation and lies. Go to roadrunner.com. Look at all my information. Do a search for Grand Canyon. You'll be blown away. Yes, I've been to that remote spot in the Grand Canyon. I saw what's left of that steamship. It's just a rotting hull, steel hull, half buried, and a sign saying this is a national monument. It's a national monument, the little tiny sign of this little tiny hole in the wall in the middle of nowhere. An undersea marine monument or something to that effect. Why? Because this article is 100% true. There are billions of ounces, billions and billions and billions of ounces of gold in the Grand Canyon. Remember, back then, there was only 300 million ounces ever found on planet Earth. And only 100 million of those were in the monetary system. And then voila, it was probably 1909, 1910, they discovered billions and billions and billions of ounces in the Grand Canyon. Then Woodrow Wilson, the guy who signed the Federal Reserve Act, also signed the Grand Canyon National Monument Lock It Up Act. Completely locked up the Grand Canyon from no gold mining, no exploring the caves in the Grand Canyon at all. Why? Massive amounts of gold, massive amounts of pre-civilization type artifacts. Yes, those are ancient pyramids within the Grand Canyon. They're not mountains. Go to Road to Ruler, you'll figure it all out. But check this out. Now here's the article. They moved the spot in the New York Times, but I found it again. And trust me, I've got many copies of this. They're not going to get rid of it. But listen to some of the words that they were saying. They're talking about how hard it is to mine stuff in the Grand Canyon. Of course, back then, in 1912, to bring a steamship, they had to build it in San Francisco, take it by train, by horse and buggy, by mule, and then on their backs to get it there. It's crazy. It's like, hey, we found gold on the Grand Canyon. Let's build a spaceship to go up and mine the gold and bring it back. And then when we got there, we said, oh, no, we can't do that. It would destroy the monetary system. Let's just leave that spaceship up on the moon. F.D. Watson, who had been conducting operations for Chicago's concern, has come out of Lee's Ferry to report to his principals and make further arrangements to carry on his work. He declares that when the whole field has been developed, the supply of gold in the world will have increased by billions. This is a direct quote. I know that it will be difficult to comprehend that I have a correct conception of the wealth that is buried in the banks of the Colorado Canyon, he said. But I can demonstrate every statement I make to be absolutely true, and that my chief shortcoming is an inability to comprehend the vastness of the riches that lie along that great stream. At Lee's Ferry, there are mountainous deposits of marl silts that contain the wealth. Surmounting these is a sort of capstone formation that contains equal values. These harder formations, however, are a little more difficult for treatment. Underneath the stony cap is the softer silt that practically melts like sugar under the hydraulic treatment. They did hydraulic mining. It was like kind of the beginning of hydraulic mining in the very end of the 1800s, and they were absolutely getting their hands around doing this professionally really well in the Grand Canyon. That's why they needed the steamship and the barges, and the floating platforms. I think it was one of them 100 yards long, 100 feet long, sorry. That they were going to move coal from like 15 miles up the bank down to feed the hydraulic mining operation. Exposed to sight are billions of yards of this silt containing more billions of dollars worth of wealth. Remember, one gold ounce was worth $20 back then. Containing more billions of dollars in wealth of precious metal than the human mind can possibly grasp in computation. I don't wish to be understood as meaning that this is going to be easy. It talks about how hard it is, and then I posted the rest. And then listen to this. Not just that place. Up the Colorado Canyon River, 150 miles, there's another great opportunity of silt, which is being discovered by a concern largely financed out of this city in Denver. This extends for more than 18 miles, then it dips down and has been traced only once more before the deposit at Lee's Ferry. It is again found. It is believed that other deposits can be tapped within the Marble Canyon if that ever is made accessible. So what do? They lock it up. They build the Hoover Dam and lock it up underwater. It is the stories out of the Grand Canyon, the amount of gold. Am I an advocate of ripping the Grand Canyon apart to pull out gold? No. Am I an advocate of telling the truth? Absolutely. Big time. Anyway, a little more conspiracies. Great article by Ronan Manley. Central banker musical chairs at the LBMA. Fed exits, Bank of France joins. Now remember, it was France who started to repatriate their gold back in 1971. They're telling the U.S., well, you guys are printing too much money. I want to bring the gold back to France. I want to cash in these U.S. dollars that are backed by gold for central banks. And Nixon said, no, you can't do that. It's like, that's another default of the United States of America. But it is at the LBMA that the physical is played with. No, the numbers are a lie. No, it is not an exchange. It is an association. And the Federal Reserve was on the board of that association. So when Ben Bernanke says gold is not part of our monetary system, it's just history, that's complete bullshit. For a group famous for its caution in appearing associated and endorsing gold, Western central bankers seem to have made an exception when it comes to sitting on the board of directors of the world's largest bullion bank gold cartel, the London Bullion Market Association. But maybe that's the point, because if central bankers and their proxies are close to the action in the gold market, they will be able to control their interests as well as influence and control others, which may explain why news just in reveals that Isabelle Strauss-Kahn, remember that name, former market operations for the Bank of France and formerly World Bank of International Settlements, the BIS, is being appointed to the board of the LBMA as an independent, non-executive director, effective July 31st. July 31st. I told you the shit's going to start going crazy in the second half. And that's next week. The Bank de France market operations role also included Strauss-Kahn being in charge of the French central bank's gold. and FX reserve management. Until the music stops. In a classic case of musical chairs, Strauss-Kahn's new appointment comes from a vacancy which has arisen due to the departure of another, quote, independent LBMA board member, non-executive director, former Federal Reserve Bank head of Fed Markets Group, Simon Potter. I've talked about Simon Potter many times. That's the official arm of gold and silver manipulation at the U.S. government, at the Federal Reserve. Potter had left the Fed in May 2019 and joined the LBMA board just last January. Although Potter, who is also System Open Market Account Manager when at the Fed New York, that's where all the market rigging actually takes place, along with the basement of the U.S. Treasury, had a brief stint on the LBMA. It coincided with some memorable gold market action when both London and COMEX gold markets blew up in the week of 23rd of March, when the LBMA and COMEX hit the panic button, rolling out nothing to see here messages over mainstream media. The other Strauss-Kahn, I know you guys have heard of Strauss-Kahn. Where does that name ring a bell? Isabel Strauss-Kahn, who is a member of the advisory board of the LBMA cheerleading organization, the World Gold Council, additionally has the distinction of being the sister-in-law of infamous Dominique Strauss-Kahn, who people may remember as former managing director of the IMF. And they took him down with the maid, and it was an official takedown. Craziness. They took him out through an allegation of having sexual advances with a maid in some hotel in New York. Everybody knew it was a ridiculous setup. From 2007 until the gig was cut short by his inglorious IMF exit in 2011. Isabel Strauss-Kahn's husband is Marc-Olivier Strauss-Kahn, career executive at Banque de France and older brother of DSK. Sister, okay, she married into the family. It's crazy. You want to know who runs the world? There you go. These are, well, it's going to be off planet, but the on planet manipulation of gold and silver, there you go. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. But again, are you ready for this? Do we want to continue rigging markets and rebuild our system on a false base? No, we don't want to do that. Come on, America. Stand up on the 4th of July. Say, hey, I'm going to take back my individual liberty, individual responsibility, and individual freedom, even if you live in Miami-Dade County. After consulting with our county's public health experts, which are all Democrats, I will be signing an emergency order on Saturday to close all beaches in Miami-Dade County starting July 3rd and ending Tuesday, July 7th. So they're going to close the beaches up because you might have people gathering to celebrate their country on the 4th of July. But it's okay to go march in the streets and cause the current outbreak because of Black Lives Matter. I don't get it. Yeah, of course I get it. We're being played. It's a con. Is the virus real? Absolutely. What are your odds of getting it? If you're healthy with vitamin C and vitamin D in you, very slim chance it'll do anything that will harm you. But that's not what's going on here. This is a political game. And of course, CNN chimes in. 5 things. Oops, here it is. Here's what's safe and what's not safe as you plan your 4th of July weekend. If you want to know what the bad guys are doing and where they're trying to steer you, just go to CNN. It's ridiculous. Anyway, insane days these days. Go to roadtoruda.com and subscribe today to get 100 Theta and 100 Theta Fuel, the future of the internet, the future of broadband. You can get it for $2.99 loaded onto Theta Wallet, and you get 1 year subscription to the Road to Ruda. And if you go to the member area, all you private road members, we got everything on there. I will be doing a review of the timeline and changing the timeline starting early July. Probably after my birthday, but maybe before. Don't forget Word Wednesday with Paige on Instagram. This week's word was Federal Reserve banking. It's pretty cool. Check out Paige. She's kicking ass. Over on Instagram, go to Instagram, Bix Weir. Or if you're a private member, just click on Word Wednesday, and there you have me and Paige talking about fractional reserve. Oh, the top got cut off. It should say fractional reserve banking. And then last week was blockchain. Very fun hanging out, watching Paige grow and develop in her understanding and spreading the word to her generation of what the hell's going on behind the scenes in the banking system. We're having a great time. So check that out. You got to be a private member or be on Instagram, like and subscribe. And like and subscribe this video too. So that's where we are. We're heading into a crazy time. Wednesday's the first of the second quarter, first day of the second quarter. So Tuesday, I expect massive volatility in the markets because everybody's got a mark-to-market all of a sudden. They have to explain why there's massive losses in gold and silver and which banks are going to fall apart because of it. So Wednesday is the last day of the quarter. That's the day they mark to market. Hang on tight. And Monday and Tuesday are delivery months, our delivery contracts. So we're going to see how much is delivered. I don't think it's going to be the massive amount that will come by September. But we'll see. I do expect a lot of volatility Monday and Tuesday because those who are offsides currently need to get their books in order and need to rig markets, and we don't have any regulators that are worth a damn. So voila, we're going to get some volatility next week. Hang on tight. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.